Hi all, I'm That What Grows. I paint minis and sometimes I sculpt them too. This wonderful 3D printed miniature, however, is sculpted by Sean Sutter and is called Hermit Prügel. And I'm gonna paint him. I love gouache paints. You can either see them as thick watercolors or acrylics that never really dry. In this case, I use ivory black, titanium white, ruby red, yellow ochre, raw umber, Prussian blue, and lemon yellow. I'm starting off by mixing yellow and white to paint the light from Prügel's lantern. Look at this huge brush. You can just dab the paint on. Use your imagination to figure out where the light goes. Y'all probably believe in a lot of imaginary things. I prefer ghosts myself, so this bit of imagining won't be a problem for you. I use the black to define the shadows. You really don't have to paint the details that you can't see. Blue is a great shadowy color, so it goes on there too. Brown works well in the midtones. It wouldn't be grim and dark if we didn't use brown, right? I use the ochre in the same way as the brown, only as I would use a lighter brown. I found this mini to be pretty gnome-like, so I had to give him a red hat. And again, just dab the red on. You can't see it here, but this is why I love gouache paints. A wet brush can remove paint that was wrongfully dabbed, as on the lit part of Prügel's body behind the lantern. Now I re-establish some midtones, shadows, and highlights, as I can more clearly see where I want them. Next, I'm mixing up a skin tone of red, ochre, white, and black. Did you know that prügel is Swedish for a flogging? I think his weapon makes sense. Just keep on dabbing that paint on. More shadows using black. A quick grey mustache and a refill of the white paint. Alright, don't worry, it's all part of the process. You just really have to trust the process. A damp makeup brush can dab everything together. The gouache is perfect for wet blending even after it's dried. Now I go back to reinforce some of the colors the makeup brush removed too much of. Carefully paint the emblem on the shield. Again, I'm pushing the shadows and the highlights to make sure the effect is dramatic enough. I'm no OSL master, but I think contrast is important. Some details and more wet blending. Use the cheapest brushes you have, because these techniques are really rough on them. Also, you'll save money. Now I'm touching up small stuff before I move on to the oil paints. I add a bit of pure white to the lantern light, some pure black for some more shadows, and this time I use a clean, regular brush for some fine-tuned blending. And this is what the little man looks like as I move on to oil paints. The oil paints I use are ivory black, titanium white, pyrrole red, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, raw umber, and French ultramarine. These paints really pushed the drab gouache paints to be a lot more vivid. So the process here basically matches what I did with the gouache paints, without the hassle of trying to establish base colors using only oils. I find that to be a bit harder. Again, I use a small makeup brush to blend the oil paints directly on the model. Make sure to establish the shadows and highlights well. Blend once more, add contrast and blend once again. I also grabbed some raw sienna in order to add rusty points of interest here and there. I wanted the light to be a bit more yellow, which was done with a thin wash of, well, yellow. Blend it in and then really push that light with some more pure white. Once I was pleased with the final touches, I put the hermit in the cabinet and forgot about him for a bit. Now that the oils are dry enough, I got some varnish on him. Next I painted the base, as I normally do. Sprayed on some really matte varnish and finally painted the base rim. Now, let's see him in action. Big thanks to you all for watching. This was my first attempt at painting on camera and it is a bit of a pain, but I hope you could tell what was going on well enough. I also want to thank my buddy Isaac for making the music here in the background. You can find his info in the doobly-doo. If you want to help me out a bit, I've got a Patreon. It's originally for my sculpting habit, but if you join up, there are free STL files uploaded once in a while, I guess. So please check it out. Bye.